I went to an industry event recently, and a lot of marketers there in B2B, and there was a couple of things that stood out for me in terms of some of these brands and what they were doing for this year in 2025. So there was like brands like G2, DocuSign there, Mixpanel, and I feel like as a content type, something that they were all just like really loving was video case studies. So just these stories of brands using their product and then them actually really exhibiting their success and who that client was. And it was great just because I feel like, and there was three separate presentations shouting out this format, but some of the takeaways were, really quick and easy to produce, like whether you are just sending a single person with a camera there or you are doing a bit more of a UGC style in an interview just like this. So there's basically no excuse, like everyone can produce it. And there was brands that were doing a really polished job, and that's fine, like your Salesforce, and there was ones which were a bit more scrappy and just wanted to get them done quick. There was no right or wrong, but I just think the format itself was really powerful just in terms of getting it done from a production perspective. And I think something else which was really interesting about it was just there was a common interest in that client like posting the video. So like there's a really great kind of cross-posting happening where as soon as they do the video, like if you had a really big brand, you'd be able to leverage their audience too. And you're not always selling to the exact same niche. So sometimes that has benefits, sometimes it doesn't in terms of conversion straight away. But I still think it's a really great shout out and a really good idea for piggybacking off other audiences. So yeah, it's not new as a format, but I was just interested to see a lot of brands doubling down on this. There was one person's role who was at DocuSign that actually just specialized in doing this. I think a title had something to do with customer stories. I thought that was really cool. Like I hadn't seen that before. So interesting learning that came out of the session. There
Yeah,
was
I
an
think like I'm sorry, just wanna add on that. Like I had conversation yesterday with, and I don't know if this part could be like just cut off, but I had a conversation with Alex from Generate, and he was telling me like a hotspot paid him, like gave him like a 6-month trial of their platform, and for him to implement in their own company and everything like that. And he wanted to create, and for like 6 months, he needed to create content about the platform, like about what he was seeing, just something like very like genuine, but also showcasing having this type of like customer testimonial in a way. So it's kind of mixed between like influencer, B2B
Mm.
influencer marketing and having those testimonials as well done. But it's for SaaS is good because they can actually give access to their platform and have this as part of like the payment, also the trial of this for free in a way,
Mm.
in exchange of content. Yeah. So that
Yeah.
was
Yeah, it's super interesting that like brands are getting that creative with those partnerships, and
yeah,
yeah, is willing to like give that much. I think just investment up front. I think is really cool.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And what was your second point, Michael?
The
Sorry.
second one was, listen, I don't want to steal the thunder here, but it was just a really great visualization of demand generation and how it works. The story is we were in a room, there was like 200 people, and one of the, I forget her exact title, but she was, I think, the head of marketing for a SaaS company called Tracksuit, and they do measurement for brand awareness and brand measurement. And she did a really great exercise, which I want to kind of shout out here. She basically asked the room like how many people were looking to get an iPhone in the next month or new smartphone, and like 4 people out of 200 put their hand up. And then she asked the question, how many people are thinking that they're gonna get an upgrade in say like a year and a half? And then like most of the room like put their hand up. And I just thought that was like a really interesting way to show like the pie graph, which is, okay, here are the amount of customers in market which are willing to buy right now, but here are the ones that would be willing to buy in a year and a half, right? Or choose your time horizon. And I think that just says a lot about like marketing itself, the fact that you need to consistently be selling to the whole pie, right? You can't always just choose like the pie that's ready to buy. There are ways to get closer and channels that will get you closer. But I just think that's always a good exercise that stuck with me. I was already aware of the pie graph, and Laura and I, as marketers, we have to justify brand marketing and say they'll come around and they'll buy eventually. They didn't buy this month, but they'll buy this quarter. We have to justify that. We know it. But that was one of the best in real life representations of that concept, I thought. It was really good.
Totally.
That's a perfect example to piggyback on the idea of the 3% and the 97%. That 3% is ready to buy right now, 97% is going to buy at some stage when they run into the problem.
Yeah, and that's why you can't stop building the brand. You can't stop like
Yeah.
trying to build that credibility and, you know, kind of convince, not convince, but like people needs to be loyal to your brand even before buying, in a way. And that's what content does. Good content.
Yeah, the loyalty comes first, and then the rest. You know, you first build the relationship, and then you take them out to dinner. It's kind of like it's the new way of doing things. It's not physically meeting and directly doing the thing. It's like, yeah, we first got to chat a little bit. We first got to ease into it, get to know one another, and then be like, yeah, this is someone I can see myself walking a road to success with.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it's a tough dilemma because I think that I think sales, if they had it their way, they obviously want 100% of the pie to be ready to buy at any one time. And marketing just know there's just no tech alive that we know in existence that will actually enable that to happen practically.
Yeah.
Practically. It doesn't matter what, like how much money you have or what channel you put it into. You're just going to be subject to those laws or that ratio of there are ready buyers and there's buyers that are going to be ready in 6 months or a year's time.
Yeah.
So it's a toughie. It's a real toughie being able to communicate that. And sometimes sales will forget that when they do have a customer that comes or a prospect that comes right to their doorstep, that they actually came into the funnel 4 months ago. And there needs to be, I swear, a little reminder whenever it comes up in CRM now, whenever a prospect enters your pipeline, your active opportunities, there should be a little description there, just so the marketers get some love, which is entered the funnel 4 months ago, entered the funnel 6 months ago.
It came from the masterclass we did, you know?
Exactly. There's attribution, but there's also the amount of time that they've actually been in your funnel. And the salesperson will never look at that. They'll just be like, oh, like lead that's ready to buy, great. Very rarely will they shout out and remember marketing did the work 6 months ago. And I'm not throwing every sales team under the bus here. I'm just saying this because I am a marketer and I am a salesperson. And it's just interesting seeing those two team dynamics.
Yeah, it's the common dilemma. Dilemma between like in B2B, like between sales and marketing. There's always that battle.
Yeah.
I mean,